Yeah. We say the quiet parts loud, sip the truth, spit it out. If it's on your mind, it's allowed. If it's in your gut, say it now, but keep it classy. No script, just heat, just chatter. Big laughs, real tears, real patterns. If it's messy, keep it classy, that's the standard. If it's sacred, it still gets answered. Unfiltered and unbothered, we don't ask, we don't falter. Sit down, lean in, why bother to pretend? Unfiltered and unbothered, this is Bone Talk, go harder. If you press, then press play, let it begin, yeah.
Welcome to Unfiltered and Unbothered, the podcast where nothing is off limits and opinions come with zero filters. We're three friends who decided our group chats were way too entertaining to keep private, so now we're bringing those conversations straight to you. From relationships and life drama to hot takes, trending topics, and the random things we overthink at 2 a.m., we're talking about it all. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and get ready for real conversations, real opinions, and absolutely no pretending. This is Unfiltered and Unbothered. Welcome to the first official episode of Unfiltered and Unbothered. Welcome to the Rant Room. I am Lyndsay. I'm one of the co-hosts, and I'm hanging out with two of my best girls and other co-hosts, Lace and Gist. How is everyone today?
Hi, I'm well. How are you guys?
Doing
well.
fantastic. Could complain, but I won't because it won't do any good.
And I have to say, super excited to be here today.
Absolutely.
Me too. This is what literally got me through the day today because today was a tough day, but here we are. I knew I was getting on with the girls so we could launch our new venture. So I'm super excited. And so what are we sipping on to celebrate our new venture here?
I'll give you one guess.
Water.
Close. Diet Coke.
Filter. How is that close?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it has water in it? Filtered?
Literally.
I usually drink
What?
two things. She knows I drink either water or Diet Coke. One or the other.
Well, there she goes. She's got a Diet Coke. I'm actually doing a Pop Well. I don't know if anybody's heard of this before. I'm actually holding it up right now, like you can see me. But future
can.
pause, you will. And it is cherry citrus. I feel like I got this at Aldi. I don't remember, but it is delicious. So highly recommend cherry citrus Pop Well. Gist, what about you?
Well, everyone knows I am getting over this battle with allergies. It was allergies 1, GIS 0, but I have my Egyptian chamomile tea and I love it because sometimes the chamomile for me can feel like overpowering. This one is very, very smooth. And I paired it with some of the local honey. My husband and I, we like to go to the local farmer's market here in our area. So pairing it with that, not only am I getting that smooth taste, but also helping to relieve my voice here as well.
Yes. And
So I don't sound like a man.
I was
Or
going
a
to say,
smoker.
those of us who have heard her for the past couple of days, her voice is a million times better. So just imagine somebody who smoked cigarettes their whole life. No shade, but we're just saying. That's what she sounded like. Okay, so I think this was a great lead-in, but Gist, I'm excited. What are we talking about today?
Hey, everyone. So today we are creating a space for raw honesty and some critical thinking. So in true educator fashion, let's break down our lesson plan. So our objective for today is to kind of distinguish between emotional processing and also our critical analysis. In other words, we are defining venting and ranting. We'll be categorizing this chaos. We'll also dive into some of the pressures that linger and even get into a few laughs with our hot takes and headaches. And then we'll wrap up with some key takeaways. So diving into today's discussion, when you've had a rough day and you just want to reach out and talk to someone, a lot of times when you start talking, it's good to determine if you're venting and ranting. For the sake of our conversation, A vent is kind of when you're overwhelmed, and it's your method of processing some type of immediate stress. You're not looking for anyone to solve your problem. You're just looking for that ear. Kind of think about it as this one thing happened today, and you have that emotional bucket. It's not full, but you know you need to empty it before you move into that next part of your life versus ranting. Ranting feels very heavy. It's one of those moments that, you know what? This is it. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm about to lose it. First person I see who can handle this and knows my craziness, it sparks strong opinions, but it's also kind of like a form of critique of a situation. So there's an emotional difference between that venting and ranting. Ranting is pretty much, this is wrong, it's stupid, it's broken, I can't do anything about it, it sucks, and I might want to blow things up. Please don't do that. So let's get into it,
A little
ladies.
disclaimer there.
Yes.
Don't do that.
And I love your definition and what you were sharing, even though, like we said, we're not trying to blow anything up. But one of the situations that I came across today with one of my students, we had this same conversation where for them at their age, because I deal with teenagers all day, it's easy to shut down versus
Mhm.
find a safe place to vent and to share those emotions. A lot of times, my office is the rant room. You can
Mhm.
come here, it's a free space. You can share your feelings and everything that you say stays in here as long as you're not going to hurt anybody or yourself. Everything that's said stays with me. So I allow you to rant. And it started off, we had a little ranting moment, but then we were able to come together and decide, is this a safe place to vent? Do I have people that in a moment of a crisis or an emotional need, do I have somebody I can really vent to just to share something?
Right,
Or
right.
is it better for me to shut down? And so we talked through that. And it was like really a breakthrough moment, I think, for her and for me, because I was really taking what we have been planning for this podcast and really applying it in real life. And so she said that tomorrow she was going to be ready to step forward and slowly but surely start to open up and not go straight to shutting down, to be able to share some of those feelings and emotions, not ranting so much to where it's very out of control, big, loud, but
Mhm.
to work on venting, to bringing it in. And even though she may not want or need advice, just being able to say, I'm having a bad day and here's why, or hey, I'm just having a bad day. I'm not at the place to talk about it. But at least that's letting everyone around her know
Right. And
that,
I think that's where that emotional piece comes into, and not a lot of individuals are in tuned to their own emotions. Now, whether we're talking about teenagers or adults, having that safe space so that, or that person that you know you can go to and be able to kind of reel in those emotions and being able to learn yourself, like that's really important because you're able to identify, okay, at what point has this gone from a simple annoyance and frustration to I can feel myself getting out of control? Now let me put some elements in place so that I can bring myself down if you don't have that place to go. And it takes some years to actually to establish that, not only that safe space. So it's good that the students can recognize that in yourself. And as adults, we need those safe spaces too. And oftentimes when people don't have it, I just personally think that's why we see things happen in society and we think, wow, how did it get to that moment?
yes, absolutely. And I think to kind of piggyback that, not only do adults need safe spaces too, but they have to be willing to allow kids to ask for that safe space because it's hard as a new parent. My little girl is so small where we're not to that place. But dealing with my kids at school, if they need a break, if they know they're at their emotional breaking point, you knowing your students and realizing, like, hey, I need to give that child a timeout because something isn't right, that saves so much discipline for me if you allow that child to take that moment versus you staying in control and having such a tight rein of, you know what, this part of my lesson is super important. I don't have time for your emotions right now. I need you to stay in this space. Or as a parent in a middle of a heated argument with a child, you're going to stay here because I have something else to say and not giving them that space. Sometimes we unintentionally lead to bigger emotions or these rants that become out of control. And once you say some of these things, it's really hard to kind of take that back.
Right. Absolutely. And shutting down sometimes is that safe space for people. Just talking
Mhm.
about myself personally. Of course, not the over emotional person. Who me? Sometimes those emotions become so big depending on the situation. So, for example, one thing for me is like, you don't hurt kids. You don't hurt kids intentionally. Things that take me over are those situations where people know that they're being cruel and there's
Mhm.
no reason for it. For me, sometimes I do have to shut down because I know where I'm going to, and other people who are not aware of how I handle my emotions, they may perceive it as, well, I just need to keep not so much picking, but I need to keep goading and getting at to the issue when no, you really just need to leave me alone. I don't want to have this conversation, or I don't personally know what I need at this
Mhm.
moment. And
And
maybe,
I love that though, because that, as long as you're able to verbalize that, even if
hmm
it's just that part, that is so good because me, on the other hand, not, and I'll let you get back to where you were going because I really like that. If you're around me and you're not talking to me and it's like very awkward, and typically it isn't, in my mind, I'm thinking I've done something to her
right,
where something is off and it starts to become a mental thing in my head where I'm like, have I missed something? Like, what's going on? So it's important when you are in those states to be able to communicate and say, hey, it's not you. I'm having a bad day
right,
right now or a time. If you just can just give me a minute or whatever. For me, I'm like, okay, cool. I know when you're good, you're going to be able to come back to me and it will be fine. But it's just knowing you, knowing yourself, and me knowing myself and where we stand, it makes things so much easier in
right.
these situations.
Yeah. And imagine that with kids. Like you have a classroom of 30 students at that moment.
Mhm.
But then you think of your whole population and they're
Mhm.
going through things that are not seen, that are not part of that lesson. And they come in with those heavy burdens. And you're that one person who's requesting
Mhm.
them to do something that they don't have the mental or emotional capacity to handle and not being willing to give that space. Maybe they can't figure it out to you. Maybe they do need to go and vent to someone else before it becomes something much, much larger. What are your thoughts, Bond?
As the adult in that room, you want to be the one to be able to model that, right? To show that you
Mhm.
have self-awareness and you can say, look, I'm actually need to give myself a timeout in this situation because I want to make sure I handle this person appropriately to where I'm not going to end up triggering them even more. So if
Right.
you have to give yourself a timeout and say, look, I'm the adult in this room. I have
Mhm.
to be able to model for my students or for my children or for whoever the
Mhm.
appropriate steps to take just because sometimes they can't stop themselves in that situation. You have to be the adult. You have to
Right.
allow
Right.
them and then give them that space that they're going to need And why would you want to make the situation worse?
Right.
Right.
Why push the button? You already know they're at a certain place, at a certain.
Right.
Give them that
Right.
room. Get over
Yes.
yourself.
I love that,
Literally.
Bonnie. Say that again.
Get over yourself.
All the way
Yes.
over it. And
Yes.
I
for
love that
sure.
you said that, because that also connects to something that Kimbro said about her student in that situation. That student felt lighter leaving
Yeah.
that room in that moment. Think about how many times we as adults, we in our friend groups, where we have that heavy burden and we need someone to rant to, and then we're able to just leave that situation where it is and be able to be fully present in the lives of our loved ones. Like, that's really what it's all about. And the concept is called psychological safety, is when you know you can go to a certain place or an individual, what you say, how you present yourself in an authentic way, it is accepted. But that does not mean that it does not come with any type of correction, any type of feedback. Psychological safety allows you to be more receptive to that feedback that you may receive. And a lot of times, that's what they need
Right.
to get into that
That's what,
space so they can
yeah, that's what
receive.
they're asking for. Exactly. Exactly. And it's funny, after we had, kind of processed the whole situation, I explained to her my thought process. And I'm somebody who, I'm going to get to know you just through our interactions. And sometimes I'm just watching. And so once I really have talked to you and spent time with you, I get to know what you need, those kinds of things. And I said, I know you're the type of person who you need to come in and rant, whatever it is, and it's going to be crazy. You're going to get it all off your chest. And then a lot of times I don't even know where we're going or what we're talking about, but I
Buckle
know
up.
eventually, exactly. I'm like, all right, eventually you're going to be able to tell me what's going on. So after I see you're kind of, calming down a little bit, I'm like, okay, so what's really going on?
Right.
And so then you're able to tell me, and then I'm watching to see your body language, how it's going, to see, okay, do you want feedback? Do you want advice? Or is this something you just need to release?
Right. Right.
And typically you will ask me, what do you think I should do? Or have you had a situation like this before? Or, whatever. That is the really cool thing about our age group. As many, sometimes headaches that come with it, that, the teenage age group is such a special time too, because I feel like every day I can choose to make them or break them. And I go
Mm,
into it every day with, I want to make you better. I tell my kids
right.
that all the time. And so it's like, okay, if you're bringing me something heavy and you're trusting me with that, I want to help you figure this out.
Yeah.
So I want us to get to a place where you want me to help you, like you want the advice. I'm not going to push it on you. I'm going to wait and see, get my feelers out there, and then go from there. But usually, I've been lucky, they want to know, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? How
Mm-hmm.
would you
Mm-hmm.
do this? And so I think that's just important, because overall, and I know we're going to touch on this here in a little bit, they need to have, they meaning teenagers, but really everyone. If
Yeah.
you can have more social interaction with people, you are less likely to embarrass yourself later on social media.
Mm.
Right. Well,
And yeah, and that right now, the digital presence is what worries me most with our kids. So if I have to carve time out of my day to have a serious heart to heart conversation, I would rather you and I talk this out than later on you go home, lock yourself in your room, get on a social media platform and start just talking crazy, using profanity, using all caps, no punctuation, all of the things that we in education hate.
What? No
Yeah,
punctuation? Is our
yes,
age
but it's
showing?
I know. I know. It's crazy out here. I have to have punctuation. I can't do it. I don't do well with, you know, trying to figure out where should I take a breath.
My
But I
brain hit
digress.
speed bumps. Like, what is happening? I
Yes,
cannot help you
exactly.
because my brain can't figure out what's happening with these words.
Literally. But with that being said, it's like I want to stop you from doing that because the people that are going to respond or feed into that do not have your best interest. They are going to continue to try to pour gas on a fire.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Kimbro. And that leads us right into our next segment. We're going to talk about hot takes and headaches. What are hot takes and headaches? Well, we're going to start with those hot takes. Hot takes give short, punchy opinions on a related subtopic or current news item. So, folks, you guys don't know that, and neither do our co-hosts know, but I have a little, let's call it a check for understanding. So I'm going to read a few things. I'm going to ask the co-host here, is that a vent or is that a rant? And we're going to act like they're social media posts. Okay?
Oh,
So,
okay.
Kimbro, you ready? Gist, you ready? All right, let's see how well you guys can do. All right, your first example I got for you. This one is fueled by rage. This post happens to be fueled by rage. The other one is fueled by exhaustion. If it's fueled by rage, would you say that's a rant or would that be a vent?
I think if it's fueled by rage, I'm going with
Rant.
it's a rant.
Yeah, fueled by exhaustion is definitely a vent. But you know what? Regardless of which one it is, if I'm out on social media and I'm seeing that, guess what I need? I need a snack for this. It's like, we got some rage happening. Give me some popcorn and a Diet Coke. Or
To the comments.
depending if it's, depending. All right,
Scrolling.
scrolling.
Or Thirsty Thursday. There we go.
Right, that's right.
Gotta throw the disclaimer.
Okay, let's see how you do on the second one. I'm fired up. I'm fed up. Which one? I'm
Vent.
fired up. Is that a rant or a vent?
I'm
That could be
fired
a
up.
vent. I could say that could be a vent.
Okay.
See, I'm going to go with the tone, even though on social media, that also plays a role in it. You're whatever. But I'm going to say that it's a rant because you're fired up. You're hot. I felt a little
Those
energy
emotions are
behind it.
high, right? I'm fed up.
Yes.
I could see why Gist was going to go rant there, but I would go vet with that. Either way, like we've been saying, you got to talk to somebody immediately. Not necessarily put it out there on social media, folks, right? Not everything needs to be posted. Okay.
Right.
So you want to kind of, like we said, have your person. Go to somebody. Have that safe person. Okay. All right. Let's try one more. Let's see how we're doing. You're going to hear some volume or you're going to hear some tea. What do we got? We're going to hear some volume or we're going to hear some tea. Hear volume. Is that rant or vent?
I just want to say, for the record, I've never heard anybody say they're going to hear some volume. So with that being,
we're going to get angry, right?
I'm thinking
with
people
that being
face to face
said,
screaming rant.
yes, I'm going to say rant too because we're clearly in an argument.
And what was that
That's right.
second piece?
You're going to hear some tea. Tea means
That would take me to vent. That would
yes.
take me to
Either way.
I think it would also take me to some gossip.
Yeah,
also.
either way, choose your fighter, right? Whether you're going to be at
Yes.
that volume level or you're going to give out some tea. All right,
Yes.
you guys did really
To
well
the
on that. I'm
comments.
proud of you guys.
Professionals.
So clearly we got the difference between rant and vent, and we did it in a little social media. So just kind of think about what you're putting out there, because remember, that doesn't go away.
right.
But talking also about that, Kimbro, you'd mentioned that you are a new mommy to a beautiful baby girl.
Princess.
Is there anything in motherhood that kind of has like a hot take for you?
Yes. I love my girl. She is adorable.
We
She
all
is
do.
7 months old.
Yes.
But I will say, going from maternity leave and returning back to work, like the respect level that I have for moms through the roof. Ladies, motherhood can be so
What?
nobody tells you. It is the expectation that you have a whole human that you're responsible for every single thing, making sure they are alive. And you love every second. Like, I am blessed. I'm in the throes of postpartum, but I've had a wonderful experience. I have a wonderful support system, all of the things. So I'm thankful. But trying to balance a new baby and then go to work, yowzers. I am
Mhm.
so thankful that I work at a place that I thoroughly enjoy going to every day and that my kids welcome me back. And of course, the staff too. Everybody welcomed me back with open arms. But it is so hard
Mhm.
every day to try to do all the things. I am an exclusive pumper, so shout out to all my EPs out there. That's a full-time job
Yeah.
It is. It
for
is.
sure. Um, which of course you have no idea until you're doing it because you may visualize like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But then you're actually doing it. Wow.
You have a problem?
Like,
I'm dripping milk. Your issue has to wait.
yes. And that's the other thing too, is finding that balance of like, oh my gosh, I need to squeeze this in so my baby has a meal tonight and then also trying to make sure I'm, fulfilling my job requirements and everything. It is a lot. Like I said, I'm thankful for the support system that I have at home, at work, all of the things. It has made everything so much smoother, but that does not mean it has made it less hard because it has not. So, shout out to all my moms out there, whether you were in the baby stage like me, or if you have grown up kids
Because
like
it
my
does
two
not stop
co-hosts.
at 18, no matter what they tell you. It's all a lie.
Yes,
It just
it
looks
is.
different.
Yes, that is definitely my hot take. While I love motherhood and all the things, whoo, y'all, what a time, a
Yeah.
ghetto time. Because yikes,
Well,
yikes, yikes,
we are
yikes.
always here for any of those moments of venting and
Yes,
holding the little princess.
yes,
Love that
And
job.
I
I'll do
will
that every
add on
day.
to that, Kimmie, just not only seeing you flourish and grow into motherhood, seeing you do that at the same time the world is just going insane. I have a new appreciation, not only because, Bonnie and our children are older, but even watching my own daughter navigate the fears of the rest of the world and that insanity while also building out that emotional peace for yourselves because you know how your emotions also impact your
yes,
children. So
yes.
being able to have that support system is not only important for you in the throes of going to work and being that professional, but it also really gives you that very much needed balance so that you can fully show up for your child, Bria and her children, but also for your partners because you guys have
Mm-hmm.
some very, very great supportive partners as well. So we're here for
Yes,
all the things.
yes,
That we
yes,
are.
yes, yes. No, thank you so much. I truly appreciate that because it is hard, and to think about her growing up in the world and how it is right now is very scary to think about. And I'm not going to rant on here about all of my fears and all of those things. We'll save that for a different episode. But yeah, it's real out here, all these things. So, all the new moms, the breastfeeding moms, the pumping moms, the moms to grown up kids, moms to teenagers,
The bottle
sending
feeding
you all
mom.
my love. Yes, bottle feeding moms, all the moms all over the world. I salute you. I appreciate you. I'm in the trenches with you. I wear it's a badge of honor. And I'm doing all these hand motions once again, like y'all can see me. So just know when you can, you're in for a time.
All right. So let's talk about the headache portion of this now. So the headache portion, we're talking about something that's a challenge or is frustrating. And I'm going to take it right back to social media. And you know what drives me to insanity is when I go out there and I see those fake people on social media
Mm,
and they know who they are. Like they're presenting like everything is just gravy and their life is so wonderful. and you know them personally, and you know that's nothing but a bunch of shit. They're so
Mhm.
full of it. It's crazy. So I
Mhm.
came across this interesting line, and I wanna share it with you guys now. So it says, "Online, you're a saint, and offline, you're the problem." Think about that.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. That gets me every single time because do you live in a home without mirrors? And I will say, like, one of the reasons why I pulled back from social media is because, like, when you personally know the fake people
Mhm.
Mhm.
and, like, the audacity, everyone has fallen short, nobody's perfect, but you don't have to put your fake perfections out there for
Right.
everyone. But at the
Yes.
same time, what this does to the emotional stability of today's population, and we're not
Yes.
just talking about children, we're talking about adults. The
Mhm.
suicide rate has increased, depression. We have young children, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids who are depressed because
Mhm.
they're overly exposed to all of these things that make their lives seem small. What am I
Yes.
doing? And I'm not saying celebrate your wins, go right ahead.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
But when you put something out there and you're critiquing someone else or something else, but you know you're the person, and oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'll stop venting before it goes into a rant. But those people who like to use Dr. King, oh my gosh, people read some history.
And I just wanna know, what do they get out of it? Like, how is that rewarding for them?
I don't know. I mean, I always and a lot of times because in my real life, I do try to take it back to the kids because that helps me to stay centered and make sure, like, okay, I don't want them to do these things. So I need to be a good role model and do what I'm supposed to do. And I think about that because we tell them all the time, don't go online and say crazy things. Don't, cuss people out. Don't do this, don't do that on social media. But then as you get older, it's people just making up blatant things and posting it, and it's not real. And you're just like, I understand that this is a highlight reel, like social media, you're posting the best of your life and all of that. And I love that.
Me too.
I love to see all the things. I want people to win. But when the wins are lies,
Yeah.
doesn't that get exhausting? I'm just asking. You have to have something in your life that you're proud about. Post that, share that. We all want to be happy for you, but we don't need to have manufactured happiness. Be
So that
real.
makes me wonder how many, and not making excuses, but how many of those individuals might be seeking a support system that they actually do not have. So by creating something that seems larger than life, aka a
Mhm.
lie,
Mhm.
then they are possibly gaining some type of support system, whether these people are real, that they can go down the street, they can call, they can text, or if this is someone who is out there in the ether that kind of gives them what they need in that moment.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I sometimes wonder about that. Not to say it still doesn't just irk me that it's
Well,
continuously happening.
no, for sure. And I'm glad you said that because it makes me think you're here for the likes, the loves, the comments,
Mhm.
but you really don't want it to go deeper than that.
Right.
And so that and everybody has their things. Like if that gets you excited, like of course, I love when I post something great going on in my life and I get a lot of support and love and all that. I love that. Yes, does it make you feel good? Of course it does.
Mhm.
But I also, when I have something else that maybe I don't post, but the people who are still loving and celebrating me when I'm having a real moment, if you will, not a post-worthy moment, I still
Yeah.
want and need that support from people too.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
And I think that might be the difference, but it's like, I think it's exhausting.
Mhm.
It takes a lot more energy and time to create fake things and post them than to really just be you.
Right, right. And I think that kind of goes to circle back to our discussion with venting and ranting and the difference, categorizing the two. We have to pause and think about, like, what is that emotional output to create that fictitious persona in life? And what is that emotional gain that they're trying to achieve? It's kind of the same thing with, like, but very different with venting.
Mhm.
Like, if you're trying to just gain, um, a perspective, or you're just trying to get someone to hear you versus that emotional, I'm out of control, like with a rant, I'm going to someone
Mhm.
who I know I can trust to reel me in. Kind of makes me think about that balance. How do we find that sweet spot?
No, that's very true.
Think about.
It really is. I'd like to think that everybody has at least one person in their corner that truly knows some of these people that feel like they have to post these things on social media to appear to be different than what they are. And I would hope that they have people that can support them and hopefully have those conversations with them to say, like, hey, I'm not sure what's going on, but I see you and I'm here for you. Let me know if I can support you versus someone just continuing to gas up these things that they know are not real.
Right.
Yeah, that's like at our
Absolutely.
school, we have set a goal for 100% of our students, and we do this little survey that they have at least one trusted adult in the building that they can go to.
Mhm.
And it can be any adult in the building, but we want to make
Mhm.
sure that they have at least one person. So I think the last check-in, I think we were probably about 88%. So we're actively working on trying to meet with those folks that, don't feel like they have that person yet, and try to make a connection with them so they at least have somebody.
And that's
I
building
love that. I need to
community.
find out what that survey is. Side note.
That's really building a great community. And I would love
Mhm.
to challenge people, especially our listening audience, to do the same in their personal lives. Make sure those people that maybe they're not first on your list to text, maybe they're not first on your list to call, but make sure people in your circle have and know at least one person is going to reach out and be checking on them, or to just know somebody is in your corner.
Right.
And I think that brings up a great point and kind of leads to our wrap up of really why we decided to create this podcast. This is definitely one of our missions is to make sure that you, our listeners, feel the support that we have for each other, that we have for our families, that we have for our other friends. We want to be that for you. If you're looking for a person, we are here for you. Even though we may not be there on a daily basis, we're coming to you hopefully on a weekly basis. You will be able to reach out every time you hear our podcast and listen to any advice or topics that we're talking about. And hopefully you can find yourself or some support in what we are discussing. Future episodes, we do hope to get callers to call in so that you will be able to actively be a part of the podcast. We will also set up an email account so you'll be able to email us your questions, your comments, maybe your rant or event, whatever. Any way we can support you, that is our goal of this podcast. And we hope to be that person or people that you can lean on as you navigate through life.
Yes, join Unfiltered and Unbothered as we work on bridging the gap between being bothered and being heard, with a little funniness in between.
Ooh, still unfiltered and unbothered.
Oh, and one more thing. Before we go, just a reminder that opinions shared today are ours alone and do not represent any other entity. Nothing discussed in this episode should be used as legal advice or representation, nor should it be construed as medical advice. We are not your professionals, so please seek help from a qualified expert for your specific situation. Unfiltered and Unbothered LLC and its hosts assume no liability for your use of this information. We'll see you next time.